Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how you can make this garden trellis for your dollhouse. And basically I'm just using some coffee stirrers to do it. I'm using the 7-inch ones, and then I left this round so you could see the difference. And then these ones I cut off and I made them square on both ends. Okay, first thing I did is I taped some tape with the sticky side up, and then I taped it down so it wouldn't move. Then I measured from the top to the bottom, and I used a square to make sure that it was going to be square as I put it in there. And I put one at the top and one at the bottom using some Loctite crazy glue, super glue, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so I just put it at the corners of each. And then went ahead and glued it in place. Okay, once it's where you want it to be, take a little piece of masking tape, and I'm just splitting it down the middle just to save the tape so I'm not wasting so much. And I'm just going to tape it there to help hold it until it dries. Now this stuff says it dries in 60 seconds, but my experience, it takes a little bit longer when you use more than just a drop. So it will take a little bit of time to dry. However, it still doesn't take as long to dry as wood glue does, so that's why I use this. Okay, so now I want to go ahead and put mine, and I made this one a little bit taller. I want to go ahead and put mine in, and I want to move them along so that they're just where I need them to be. So I'm going to put some cross members in. And depending on the height of this, you want to measure it so you get an even amount. Okay, so if you're not very good with measurements, I'm going to show you a quick way you can do this. You can cut a piece of paper the length of your trellis, fold it in half, and then fold it in half again. Put a really good crease line in there. And then open it back up. When you do that, line it up and then mark your lines. And then that's going to give you even parts. If you want 4, if you want more than 4, then you would have to fold it again to do the same thing. Okay? So this gives you 4. If you want more than 4, fold it to the first line and then fold it back. But you got to be careful because they'll get off by just a smidge of an inch if you don't. Okay, and then you can mark those lines and you can put more pieces in depending on how many you want. I'm going to go with the 4 because I just happen to like with the 4 as I did here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do what you want. It's optional. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put some crazy glue on here. Super glue, whatever you want to call this. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and place these going across. Making sure that they're square all along the way. And continue that down. And then tape them in place. Okay, so now you want to put glue down the middle, and then you want to put 2 pieces. Now remember, this is not going to be perfect because you're using coffee stirrers, so you may see a little bit of a spacing at the top or the bottom or in the middle or somewhere where the coffee stirrer may be bowed. So you want to try to get them as close as you can to being even. So pick through the ones you have to get the straighter ones if you can do that. And you can always sand the bottom if it's not even on the bottom, but the middle you want to try and get as close as you can so that, so that when you lay them on top of each other, they will be pretty close to being even. Okay, so now you want to let those dry. Okay, another thing I'm going to show you real quick is you can also put them on like a V or a semi-V. You don't have to have them straight up and down. You can make it whatever way you want. But I did want to give you that option before I went ahead and let this glue dry. Okay, so now you want to cut the width that you want this to be, going across out of your stirs. And then you want to do the same exact thing we just did with the side pieces, all the way down. It should look like that. Okay, so if you add more slats to your wood, this is what it'll look like versus this. I went ahead and added more. I just thought it looked a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to this one too. Even though this is a little bit wider apart and I like this, this one's a little bit smaller than those. Okay, so while that's drying, I want you to take some wooden dowels, that's just like this, and sand one side completely flat. So if it looks like this, you're going to sand off that corner. And if you don't have the ability to sand it on an electric sander, you can always just take the dowel and go back and forth on a piece of sandpaper like that. Or you can just leave it square. It just is going to look better when it's sanded like this. All right, so the purpose of this is to give you a little bit of support. And if you don't have that, then you can just kind of prop it up with a piece here and put a lot of glue in it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and apply that to the top. Right there. And then we'll let that dry. And then we'll do the same thing to that side. Okay, so when you put it on here, make sure that you have the point going into the corner. And then the side that you sand it should be facing on an angle coming downward. Okay, now once you take the top off, you want to go ahead and place 2 slats down the middle of this piece. And then make sure you have them even with the ones that are on here. So that way they line up. And then tape it to hold it until it dries. All right, once you have some tape on that, what you need to do is take some glue and go straight across here and here. And then you want to glue these standing straight up. Okay? You're going to want to put something next to it so that it doesn't fall over while you're gluing it. And I'm putting it on a piece of tape that's facing upward until it does dry. And I'm going to do the same thing to that side. Right, I've also sat there and taped it here and here to help hold it in place. That way it doesn't move on me at all. And you may have to adjust this once it dries. And you can also take a piece of this that's the same size and kind of put it in here and use it as a wedge so it doesn't dry together. Okay, so I put the wedge there and taped it here to kind of help hold it in place. All right, and I'm gonna adjust the block.